And that pastor shouldn't be pastoring because he's a sinner too.
True.
So he needs to lock his doors, tell everybody to go visit another church.
Okay.
However, I can't say, well, because you're not a homosexual, you can be a deacon. Because God calls deacons. God calls leaders. And whomever God calls, we got that thing even with women preachers. Whomever God calls, we can't fight who God calls. All we can do is teach them the truth and pray that God changes their heart. So I feel bad for that pastor.
Well, I was really surprised. Actually, I was taken aback. I said, wow.
He can't preach God's love and at the same time put up a wall that say do not enter.
Well, this was the statement that was made that he had no problem with someone homosexual attending his church, but he could not put them in a leadership role because that was going against the Bible.
Yeah, so he must have to sit down all of his deacons, all of his preachers. Because like Ms. Payne said, when God changes them and God takes that lifestyle away from them, what? They can't sit, they can't be a leader because they once were?
Sure.
Nice. And God's talent, God spreads his talent among everybody.
Yes,
you can learn from everybody.
You can.
Yes.
And I would hate to live in a shell where I couldn't have all kinds of people as a friend.
Yeah.
I have many friends
Yeah.
who are homosexual, but I pray for them.
Mm-hmm.
They know how I feel about my God.
Yeah.
And every chance I get, I
You have to.
let them know.
Because God can change anybody.
Exactly, and that's my prayer for them, that God will come into their lives and they'll see it differently.
Yeah. It takes God. We can't do
We
it.
can't do it.
I remember many years ago, a very good classmate of mine, we had gone to school together right over here in Jefferson, had been since 7th grade, and we were grown, and I think I was in my early 20s then, and she came to my job at the court, and she asked me to go out to lunch with her. I said, sure, I'll go out with you. And the way she was dressed, of course, there were ladies there in the office who made comments because she had on black leather, she had spikes, she had different things. And I went to lunch with her, we had a great lunch, and she confessed to me at that time that she was lesbian. And I told her, I said, well, I already knew that. I knew that years ago. But that does not change my love for you.
It shouldn't.
Because I love you as who you are. I'm not looking at you and thinking, well, because you're lesbian, I have to feel differently about you.
That's right.
That's not what a Christian would do.
No.
And I actually, when I returned from lunch, there were the girls and they're, oh, well, how did it go? How did it go? We had a wonderful lunch. Why would I turn my back on my friend who I had known since we were 12 years old because of what her lifestyle choice was?
No.
She had been married. She didn't have any children, but she had been married as well. But she told me, Alicia, that just wasn't the life that I lead. That's not what I wanted. So because of that love that I have in my heart for people, and that I'm sure we all have, we can't look down or should not judge.
Can't. And most people who live that lifestyle have that mindset about people in the church. I can't talk to them because they're going to automatically judge me.
Yes.
But no matter what type of sin, and I say this again, no matter what type of sin they're in, God loves sinners.
Yes. Yes.
He hates sin, but he loves the sinner.
Thank you.
And God loved the sinner so much that he allowed his son to die.
Yes.
And that all of us are in church because God allowed his son. He showed his love so much that he let his son die for sinners. And he ain't stopped.
No.
He ain't stopped loving sinners.
I know he loves me.
Oh, man.
Oh, without a doubt.
He woke us up this morning.
What would we do without God's love? Where would we be without God's love? We'd be totally messed up. Totally and completely messed up. Well, Pastor Stanley, do you feel that the Bible, the teachings in some ways discriminate against LGBT Christians?
No, the Bible is not a book of discrimination in any way. The Bible was written by God to give us direction. What to discriminate. You'll never find anywhere where even, the Jews had this thing where they didn't want to be with Gentiles and Samaritans. But Jesus said, I came for everybody. So, if Jesus wasn't about discrimination, we can't say the Bible discriminates. We've used it to discriminate. Back in slavery time, the masters used it to discriminate against the slaves. They used it during the civil rights. Tell us that we ought to be separate. We make the Bible discriminative. We We make the Bible say stuff that it doesn't. And because we don't study our Bibles, we believe it.
And as you said earlier, it's easy to twist things around to fit the way you want it to fit.
Look at the prosperity gospel.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Bible don't say nothing about all this stuff they talk about.
This is true.
You know, they talk about favor and all this stuff.
Yeah,
The Bible don't say nothing
The
about
only thing it says is that if you follow him, everything.
everything. Yeah.
So
Everything will. Just like I was saying with favor. Favor is nothing but grace. They trying to make it seem like favor means you're going to get a new car when you get home. No, that's just grace.
not without a car.
Not without a job, I tell you that.
Now, Pastor Stanley, would you counsel an individual, whether male or female, who came to you and said, Pastor, I'm conflicted. They're not really sure. They're straddled the fence. Perhaps they have preferences or feel that they're attracted to someone of the same sex. They're concerned, of course, how they're viewed by society and certainly by their church. How would you counsel that person if they came to you and said, I want to talk to you, I don't know how to talk to my family, I don't know how to talk to my friends, I'm not sure about my sexuality. How would you counsel someone in a situation like that?
Well, you know, I'd have to, in all the counseling sessions, whether it would be in that situation or marriage, you have to go by the Word of God.
Yes.
And once I show you what God says, now the choice is up to you. I tell anybody that comes from counseling, I'm not here to be your judge, God is. My job as pastor, counselor, is to encourage you. That's all. To pray with you. And if that's your choice, I have to love you in spite of it.
Yes.
Then you and God will deal with that.
Yes.
You know, when he comes again.
And I think God knew that these things would come before to us. You know, this is nothing new.
No.
Nothing is new under the sun. I remember hearing my grandmother, when they were coming up, they always called them sissies. And, you know, it took me a long time to figure out what that meant. But I'd also think, what would she think now?
Yeah, well, it's
so noticeable.
It's a lot more rampant in society today. You know, TV is making it popular. They even have TV shows geared toward making it look like the it lifestyle today. But as the church, we gotta love people, and we can't demonize people, because in turn they're gonna turn it on us, and then we gonna look like we don't know God, and now everybody's gonna be running to them. But they need to know that we love them.
Yes.
Because our love shows God's love.
That's right.
And that's what we need to do.
And one thing, the reason, and Mrs. Payne thought of this subject and it was really good, and we felt it was very important to address this because, of course, as you know, if you've been watching the news, we're hearing more about same-sex marriages. We're hearing about laws being passed that help to support people who are involved in same-sex relationships. There's an effect with their insurance, their life insurance, their health insurance. There are people who feel this is a very touchy topic. Well, why are you guys talking about this? We're talking about it to educate and to inform. There's nothing like a closed mind, and that's one of the problems I think that people can't seem to get around. You want to talk about only certain things. They don't want to address. This is life. This is a part of life.
And church people are closed-minded people.
That's true. And it was important to us that this topic be discussed because we thought it was very important because we're seeing so much of this today. And what we wanted to do, and we're so glad that we had you, Pastor Stanley, because we wanted to give a different perspective because I think Sister Payne has had a couple people who've said to her, that's a kind of touchy subject. I know I've had it told to me. My mother says a couple people have mentioned it to her. But it's life. It's life. And what we want to do here at Sit and Chat is educate. And we want to educate in the right way. If we offer one perspective, we want to get the other perspective as well. And we hope that our viewers will be interested
Yeah.
in topics that, as we first said when we started the show, that aren't typically discussed on Sunday mornings.
Mhm.
These things are going on in the world.
They
Whether
are.
you want to be naive or pretend like you don't know,
Mhm.
they're going on.
Yes, yes, they are.
They're actually taking
Yes,
place.
Sister Wilkerson and I understanding, feeling that we need to talk about it. It needs to be
It does.
addressed.
It does.
That's correct.
We've hid too long.
We have.
And that's why things are in the state that they are. The
Yes.
Christians have not spoken out,
That's true.
and they have not given people the opportunity
Mhm.
to see.
Yeah. And the
Like
church for too long is always,
It's too
after
far.
the world step out, we step out, now we want to fight it when
Yeah.
the church should be in the forefront.
Yes.
Educating the people, because people in the pews, you know, it's sad to say, they don't study the Bible as they should. And so it's the pastor's responsibility to educate them, because if he doesn't, TV will. The
And that might not be
will.
the right education.
No, it won't. And once people get it in their head, especially colored people, once they think they know something, you can't change their mind once they think they know something.
That
So
is so true.
if you teach them the right way the first time, you don't have to worry about it after a while. Yeah.
It's like a child.
Yes.
Well, Pastor Stanley, we want to say thank you very much for
Thank you.
accepting our invitation
Thank you
to
for
come
having
sit
me.
and chat.
Yeah.
I know I've learned a lot, had a wonderful time as always.
Glad.
And for our viewing audience, you can catch us on Mondays at 6:30 p.m., Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m., and Fridays at 9:30 p.m. Comcast Public Access Channel 10 and UVerse Channel 99 under the City of Pontiac. Once again, we thank you for tuning in, and join us next time on Sit and Chat with Alicia.
And Pat,
Be blessed.
be blessed.